Hey there everyone, this is Joe from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, selling you the best bullion bars and coins, shipped to you worldwide from Melbourne in Australia. This is your weekly precious metals price analysis and opinion, where we take a look at the big four: gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. Of course, head over to youtube.com/bullionnow. You're probably there already. Hit the big red subscribe button to join the family. 5,551 subscribers. Before we go to the analysis, two things, maybe three things. One, if you don't do anything else on our channel today except clicking on this video, I want you to watch it. But if you don't even watch the video, I want you to click on this video, go to the info section or the pinned comment, and click on Ethan's Investing for Kids YouTube channel link. I want you to subscribe to this kid's channel. He's an awesome kid, awesome young man. Ethan, he runs his Investing for Kids channel. He's interested in this stuff at his age, which is fantastic. B, he's trying to get the information out there for kids his age and older people too, everyone. So for all our 5,500 subscribers, just click on it, find the channel link, and just subscribe to his channel. Just do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it. Just support the young'uns in the industry, okay, in the investment game. The second thing is I'm going to be talking about the technicals, more the price analysis, where I think we might have resistance levels and whatnot, moving up and moving down from here in the next week, in the next month or so. I'm not going to talk about the why, the fundamentals of why silver has had such a big rise in the last few weeks and few months, particularly in the last week, why we saw such a huge spike. I mean, take a look at this. In the last week, look at that. So I'm not going to give you my opinion as to the why. I'm going to link you right now in the top right hand corner to Michael's video. He's going to give you more of the why. So we've done two videos in conjunction to upload at the same time. I'm doing the technicals and he's going to do the fundamentals, the why. So check that out right now and then come back to my one. The third thing, the title of the video. I'm not sure what I'm going to entitle it, but the title might give away my opinion, quite possibly. I think I might entitle this, I'm pretty sure, something like, $2,000 gold coming next week, ? One of those kind of clickbaity ones. But I wouldn't call it clickbaity because I really think there is the potential that after we break through the all-time high, which we absolutely will do in my opinion, I'm pretty sure we'll at least touch it next week, probably in the first couple of days of opening, probably in the first day of the market opening again. I think there's a good potential for a move up to the psychological value of $2,000 before we then see resistance. But let's talk about how we could potentially get there. We'll do a quick bit of a weather report of where we've come from in the last week or 2 weeks. I think it's been 2 weeks since my last analyses. Let's take a look on the daily. And of course, I'll give you my opinion moving high and my opinion moving low. And we'll talk about silver, platinum, and palladium as well. This could be quite a long video. Let's have a talk about quickly this video from almost 2 weeks, something like that ago. And I was talking about the couple of resistance points we could see on the way up to the all-time high. Definitely thought it was coming by the end of July. I thought it might have been by the end of June, but that was a pretty big stretch. So I thought I was much more confident about the end of July. Definitely seeing that movement happen. I thought that 1860 might be a level of resistance. I'll just say no on that one, even though it sort of hovered around about the 4-hour level. Now let's just say no on that one. This is on the daily time frame. But definitely the 1900 level right there. And the market is closed now, and we've just pipped above it, 1960 cents. So the fact that we closed above 1900, above a little psychological value, I think is a great little kickstarter for next week. So let's talk about where we could potentially move. Let's talk about the ups and the downs, the different scenarios is what I'm trying to say. I'm all tongue-tied because I'm so excited to see where the price goes on opening next week. So if we see a bit of a dip before we hit the all-time high, if we go down before we go up to reach the 1920 level in US dollar terms, then you could see it, I think, just coming back to potentially anywhere between right here at 1870 roughly to 1860. That's if any lower than that, maybe down to the 18 average of highs on the daily time frame. That's around about your kind of 1840 level. So I'd say the lowest we would go would be about 1840 before continuing up, and we are going to continue up, in my opinion. We're not, going anywhere back down to these kind of levels just yet before we reach the all-time high. If we do not have a move down before we have a move up, well, obviously we're going to just move up. I'm going to have to do that right there. We're obviously going to move higher on opening next week, and we'll if we're not moving down, we're going to move up, obviously, and we'll move up to the 1920 level. What we do from here, potentially, we could, there's a lot of different scenarios, infinite scenarios, but you could potentially see a touch of the all-time high, and then maybe a little backtrack back down to $1,900, and then I think we would move higher from there. Or potentially, if we hit the all-time high, and then we might come back down to those couple of levels that I was talking about before. But let's take a look at the weekly. And this is where the title of the video really comes into play. Let's take a look at the weekly, where we've come from just now. In the last week, we've gone from $1,800 to $1,907, and we've closed at $1,900. That's a $100 move. We're only another $100 move off from the psychological value of 2,000. That's going to be the next major resistance level. That's a big candle. Look at that. But when the market opens next week, we're going to be not here. We're going to be in this little range right here. There is not a lot to stop it doing another similar week to last week, and moving up to breaking through the all-time high and just going straight through it and finding a level of resistance. And that's definitely going to be in the short term at the $2,000 psychological value. Never been there before in the history of the gold price in US dollars. It hasn't happened ever. And so definitely going to be some kind of psychological value for sure. For how long, I don't know, but it's definitely going to be a psychological value without a doubt. 2,000, big even number. So let's play the scenario if we top out at 2,000. That would be a level where I would consider thinking, maybe we're a little bit extended now and we might see a bit of a dip. So let's talk about a bigger dip. Let's say if we go up to the $2,000 level, where could we dip down to if that's a bit more of a blow off top? And the lowest I think it would go to, we'll go back to the weekly. I think, actually, let's stick to the monthly for now. Sorry, guys and gals. Let's see. So there's the 2,000. That's on the monthly time frame. And again, I like to do this a lot on the fly. I think even if we come up to the 2,000, coming back from 2,000 all the way back down to, this level right here, I think it's going to be the $1,800 level would be, I think pretty much the low there. So if we have this on the monthly time frame, where are we? On the monthly, if we top out here at 2,000, then I think we'd be coming back down to around about the $1,800 level. That'll be, I think, the lowest point for me. Let's see, the weekly back to there. Well, that's 1,800. Look, or possibly even this trend line right here. Even though we broke through it right here, for me, it's still in play. But I would say round about the 1,800, possibly. You know what? I will change that. My apologies, gang. I'm going to say the very lowest point will be around about the 1,750 level. That's a big dip. What, $250 from 2,000? But if 2,000 is a big psychological value, and everyone has a selling party and sells and sells and sells and takes some profits, as you always should, you need to take some profits off the table, or at least recoup your initial investment. Then 1,750 would be the lowest for me. So that's my call. The lowest I think we could move down to in the next, this again is on the weekly time frame, in the next coming weeks. So 2 months, something like that, around about 8 weeks from now, something like that, I think would be the $1,750 level. So that's my call. 1,750 would be the lowest point, but I'm quite confident. I'll give it more than a 50% chance that 2,000 could be hit by the end of close of the gold market by the end of next week. So by the time we close, we could have seen that $2,000 mark. So Hopefully that gives you an indication of where I think everything could be going. Well, it does give you an indication because I just told you. So that's my call for now. Over 50% chance we will hit 2,000 US dollars by close of business next week. If the fundamentals are still the same next week, this coming week, as they were last week, and again, I'll refer you to Michael's video on the fundamentals. So that is my targets in the short term, medium term for gold. And I'll give you the blue sky thinking. Let's just talk about next month really quickly. I do want to do more of a macro one in the coming, months and years where I think the price could go from a technical perspective. But let's just talk about the next value after 2000. Well, look, the sky is the limit really from here. So really we need to pull out and have a look at I think if I just do a quick bit of trend line analysis right here, this is just really off the cuff as I like to do it. That's okay. That's maybe one right there, something like that. Yeah, no, okay. That's quite a longer term one. So look, I'm going to say once we break through 2000 will be a psychological value. Once we significantly break through that, and I think once we hit 2000, we'll have a little bit of a dip, maybe come back to the $1,900 level, something like that, but then we'll track back up. The next big significant level for me, and this is the Fibonacci level right here of 2,500. So let's just call it that. 2,500 will be the next one after the $2,000 level. So you can see that right there, 2,000 and then 2,500 would be the next one. That's based on the 1.618 Fibonacci level, calculated from the high of 1920 and the low back in November of 2015, November 2015 of 1,050. So you can see that. That's my call. So 2,000 and then to 2,500 would be the next level of resistance moving up. All right, now I've talked about gold moving higher, moving lower, and my call of 2,000 by close of business next week. Big call, but it's not that much of a stretch. Let's take a look at gold on the Australian dollar time frame. We have yet to break through the all-time high. We're actually in a pretty similar position actually in terms of the Australian dollar price. XAU, I've got so many tickers open at the moment. XAU AUD. Here we go, just very quickly. This is on the monthly time frame. We're really close to that. We're going to break that, I think, in the same time frame by the end of business next week. At close of the gold market next week, we will have broken through the all-time high in Australian dollar terms. And the all-time high is a high of $2,770, let's call it that roughly. Definitely, as gold is moving higher, this will move higher. The only thing we need to consider is the strengthening, or let's just say more so the weakening of the US dollar. You see it as it looks like a strengthening, and I believe I was talking to Michael about this. We were talking about this before we were going to make the videos, and you'll see it in the fundamental, but his fundamental video. But the question is it the Australian dollar that is strengthening against the US dollar, or is it the US dollar weakening against the Australian dollar? So that's the eternal question right there. But the reason I was mentioning this is because it does depend on what the Australian dollar does against the US dollar, of course, but definitely think all-time high by the close of business next week in the Australian dollar as well. I guess we can talk about where we could move to higher from there. And I've already done that semi-recently, actually. I've got this trend line drawn in. The next big major level of resistance for me on the monthly time frame would be coming up against this trend line. Just depends where it hits. So if we do it, say, next month, which seems a bit of a stretch, if we do it, it takes a couple of months to get there. Let's say it takes maybe 3 or 4 months to get there. This is a big if, right? This is if we're moving just higher and higher. Then I'd be looking at around about $3,300 in Australian dollar terms would be some kind of level of resistance, around about between 3,000 to 3,300, because 3,000 I guess could be a slight psychological value, but that's all the way back down here. I'm going to call it at 3,300, or potentially the Fibonacci level, calculated from this high and this low right here, and that's at 3,600, but I'd say about 3,300 roughly would be my next level of resistance on the monthly time frame, the sort of the longer term for the Australian dollar price in gold. Moving lower. Yeah. No, look, I'm pretty confident that we're moving higher in the next few months. I'm not even going to mention it. It doesn't matter at the moment. If you think, if you know or you believe you know where the world is going in the next few months, few years, economically speaking, then gold tends to be the best counterweight to where you think the world is going. So I think we're doing well for higher prices in both US and AUD in the next few months. So let's talk about silver. Thank you for your patience. What I might even have to do is put time codes to the different metals. Silver. Look at this beautiful rise. Man, did you buy here? Did you get in here? And was that around about the beginning of March? Did you get in here when it dropped down to $11? I did. Topped up a little bit around about this rough kind of level. That was a good day. Now that's silver in US dollar terms. So I think it was around about, we got down to about $19, I think, in Australian dollar terms. I did top up a little bit there. And I hope you did too. And it's had a beautiful rise in the last, 1, 2, 3, 4 months. We had these previous horizontal lines drawn in, these blue lines. And last time, where were we? I don't even know where we were last time. I think we'll pop this on the weekly. It's just had a beautiful, beautiful run. Even it's an even more beautiful run than the gold run. Let's see, 1, 2 weeks. Yeah, we were around about here, I think. We had not even broken through the $19 level, I think. Or maybe we just touched the $19 level. And we were talking about the next levels were going to be around about your $19.70 level, I think it was. And then we were talking, it'll take a bit, but, we'll get to the next cycle, the next resistance level around about $21. And then after that one, the next big one would be at around about here. This is what I was talking about in the last video and in the last few videos. The next big one after that, whenever we get there, don't know when that's going to be, was going to be here at about your, here at around about your $23 level. You can see I had that drawn in for quite a while. If you go back and watch my other videos, you can see I've had these in for a while, that $23 level right there. And look, we're there. Congratulations, everyone. We've gotten there already. Look at this on the weekly. Just 1, 2, 3. This last week from 1920, sailed through that 1970, sailed through that $21 level, and just bang right there. Beautiful, nice little level right there at the 23. So definitely that's a level of resistance. Look, we're a little extended. It seems we're a little extended in the silver market. You've got to be wary of, again, a big rise, potential move back down. Let's take a look at the daily. And if we move down from here, then you could easily see it come back down to the $23 mark. And then that's that little hit right there. So bear in mind, we could potentially have a little dip, I guess, potentially when we open. Although we had the rise up to 23.30, back down to 22.30, and then since then, whoa. But look, just bear in mind, if we are having a bit of a red candle few days, then I think the level around about the $21 level would be the level of support for me. Moving higher, then of course I have got this line drawn in from last time for a few times ago, and I believe that's a $25 level, if you can see that right there. Oh, sorry, there's the 21, sorry. There's the 23, yeah. So moving from 23 back down to the 21 level, I hope that made sense before. So moving back, if we have a spike down, then a spike down to around about $21.20. I think I said that correctly. And then here's your $23 level, and the next big one here is around about your $25 level in US dollar terms. So that's the next big one. Let's take a look at that on the weekly. And the auto. There we go. Much nicer. Thanks for your patience, everyone. This is going to be very much an extended one today. Particularly focusing on gold and silver, I would suggest. But yeah, it's a very big level right there at 25. However, anywhere between, and I'll put it in here actually to make it a little bit more easy. And I had been talking about this a while ago. I'll put it in right there. you got anywhere between this level right here. If we're moving higher from here, or if we have that dip down to 21, whatnot, the next significant resistance level will be anywhere between, in my opinion, not financial advice, between $25 and the big doozy right here, this $26 level. Do you remember that? Were you in the metals? Have you been in the metals for quite a while? Were you in the metals back in 2011 when we had the all-time high of $50 in US dollar terms? And then it seemed like this $26 level. Do you remember that? We had that level of resistance, a level of support up to 50, and then we thought, oh, it didn't break 26. Oh, that 26 is never getting, 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of support. 26 will never ever get broken. Bang, down. So that $26 level is huge. So I would suggest if 25 doesn't hold as resistance, it's definitely going to be this 26 level. That will be a major level of resistance, and it could be for a decent amount of time. I would not expect to break through 26 and just sail through there straight away. I would expect that to be a major level of resistance where we may butt up against it at least once, probably coming back down again, probably maybe twice, is my opinion. Definitely a big level of resistance, anywhere between 25 to 26 US dollars, but I'm going to say it's going to be the 26 right there will be the real tough nut that we have to crack through, or crack up through. That wasn't a good analogy, but you know what I mean. So level of resistance, big one at the $26 level, US dollars. Moving down, as I said, I think if the trend over the next couple of months is to the upside, then I think this would be a brief level of support at 21. Let's assume we're going to hell in a handbasket, and in terms of the silver price, and we just have a big dump. Where could we dump to? Sellers taking profits. So if we are moving back down in a big fashion, then you'd be looking at the $19.70 level would be a definite level of support. And I'll show you why. I think it's because of this trend line right here, 1, 2 points. Now, we did break back down all the way, but that's when the thing that shall not be named, that's when that was sort of coming into fruition, and everyone was freaking out and whatnot, and a bit of a market crash, stock market and all that sort of stuff. And so silver and gold went back down with it for a bit. So we crashed through this trend line, but I still think it's in some kind of play. I think because we crashed through, it was a level of resistance. You can see right there, and then back down. And then if we take a look on the daily time frame, you can see that we did hover around it for a little bit as well. So for me, if we have sellers taking profit, we're going to go down for a while, the absolute bottom would be this trend line here somewhere. Just depends where it hit. If it did it in the next, say, on the daily, did it in the next, say, couple of weeks, then you'd be looking again around about that sort of 1970, 1950 kind of level. So that's my very bottom, I would say. We're not going to see a lower amount than that. Possibly, if we break through it a little bit, maybe to here at, let's just call it $19. All right, I'm going to call it $19 even. Would be the absolute lowest point where I could see us moving back down to. I think we wouldn't break through this trend line, but if we do, a little spike down to $19. So I've talked about my lowest target moving down. I've talked about my highest target moving up, $26, big resistance level, and the $19 would be a big support level, probably more likely this trend line right here. So that is silver. Let's take a look. I'll do silver on the Australian dollar time frame very quickly. XAG, AUD. So as you can see here, we've had a similar kind of rise. I wonder how many people this week have reached their dollar cost average. I wonder how many people this happened for. I reckon quite a few people, because people getting into the metals kind of around your 2010 kind of level, saw that big spike, was buying on the way up and then buying on the way down. Maybe you bought extra here. Maybe you bought kind of close to the top around your 40, even closer, even higher. And, I reckon, and speaking to a few people over time, over the last number of years, all the clients that we've had, a number of people's dollar cost average, when I've asked them about it, has been around the kind of the $30 level. Some have been lower. They've, dollar cost averaged down, and they've sort of averaged their price down. But, it's around about your 30 was the kind of average price. So I think there's quite a few people now who woke up at some point this week and looked at the price and went, if I sold now, I'd break even. Cool. So congratulations to everyone who that's happened for. And now we're in profit territory. Well done to all. So here we are on the weekly time frame, a spike up in Australian dollar terms to 32 Australian dollars. Again, we float against the US dollar, so it really does matter what the US dollar does. But if we're looking at a pure technical play on the Australian dollar silver price, then we'd see this level here as a big level of resistance, or at a decent level of resistance at about $34. It's got a little bit of a ways to go, and moving higher from there, I would say the $40 level, which is I think it's the 78.6 Fibonacci calculated from the high and the low. Oh, actually, no, I don't have that low in. I don't even have that low in. My apologies. That is incorrect. There we go. That's better. I don't know why that happened. So let's try that again. We're going to have that'll still be a level of resistance on the Australian dollar time frame, Australian dollar level at around about 34. And then you've got, I'd say the next big one would be moving up to about 42 and then the all-time high. So those are the kind of the major resistance levels. Moving back down, if silver in USD has a dip and the Australian dollar doesn't do much against the US dollar, then we could see a move back down to about 28. And if we have, again, like falling off the cliff all the way back down to, I would say, no lower than this trend line right here, let's call it roughly $25. That'd be my lowest of low point, $25 in the Australian dollar time frame, Australian dollar price for silver. Okay, that's enough of gold and silver. Are you sick and tired of gold and silver now? I'm really sorry I spent all this time, but we needed to do it. Let's look at XPT for platinum, for my platinum fans out there. I had been on the fence with both platinum and palladium in terms of where I thought the price was going. I have been agnostic, but we've seen a rise in both the platinum price and the palladium price with the move in gold and silver as well. Beautiful monthly move up to, $930. We broke through this little resistance point right here, as you can see, right there. That's at the $910 level, broke above it and sort of hovering around that kind of level right now. If we're moving higher, the next level of resistance I would suggest would be this trend line right here. Just depends where it hits. If it breaks through that trend line, then we're coming back up to the $1,050 level. That's moving higher. Moving lower in platinum, you're going to be settling around about here at your sort of $850, $860 kind of level. That's a decent level of support right there at kind of your $860 level. See, that's a few, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 points of support, of previous resistance, I should say. So that'll be a level of support if we just have a quick few red candle days back down. So about 860 is where it would be a level that I would consider putting a buy order in at. So I've given my targets for platinum and my lower targets for platinum. I told you I'm just keeping it quick for platinum and palladium. My old friend Palladium, check this out on the monthly time frame. What was I talking about? What did I say? I was talking about, we were about roughly here, I think, about 1920, something like that. And I talked about a level of resistance. A big one would be, as you can see right here, I had it drawn in previous. And that was right here to coincide with this previous level of support at around about 2,255. We came up to 2,235. That's pretty darn close to that 2,250 level, particularly if you take a look at it on the monthly time frame. So I'm going to call that a correct call as a level of resistance so far. Again, I don't know the real fundamentals of Palladium, and maybe, if you know more about it than I, then do, but that seems like to be a bit of a level of resistance. Don't be surprised if we see a bit of a downward move in the next couple of months in Palladium. Not saying it's going to happen, but if it happens, don't be really, don't wake up crying one morning saying that no one told you, because this could be potentially a bit of a dead cat bounce, I guess. You have that big top, big low, and then we have a bit of a rise, and that could be a fake out. So just bear that in mind. If we're moving lower, then the next low point here would be at that previous all-time high of 1630 roughly in US dollar terms. If we're just going back gangbusters and moving higher from here, I would suggest this trend line right here might be a level of resistance. Could be at around about on the $2,500. Anywhere between $2,500 and $2,600 would be the next resistance level for me moving up. So that's my call. 1630 moving down and about 25 to 26 moving up would be levels of support and resistance on Palladium. Thank you for your patience. I really appreciate it. To reiterate, to summarize, I should say, gold is the title of the video. Good potential in the next week. By the end of close of business next week, if it hits the psychological value of 2,000 by the close of business next week, don't be surprised. If it doesn't, okay, cool, not a problem, and that'll be a wrong call, but I'm going to stick with that for now. End of next week, $2,000. If the momentum we're seeing continues into next weekend, to find out more about the momentum, the fundamentals again, I'll refer you once more to Michael's video, which we're going to release at the exact same time as this video. So I can't link it to you. I can't show you here right now because we're uploaded at the same time, but I'll link it to you, and I'll put it in the info section of the YouTube page and as part of the pinned comment as well. YouTube.com/Bullion Now, big red subscribe button. Head over to the website. We added a bunch more stuff on the website just recently. We've got Canadian maples. We did have these beautiful little CPG 1 ounce cast silver bars. We had them up, it was less than 24 hours, but we didn't have that many. We had about 80 or 90 to sell. They have sold now. We will be getting more though eventually. So just keep checking the website every now and then for the CPG CPG 1 ounce gold bar. We've just added some more stuff here. We've got ABC bars up there. And I've got some more platinum up there as well. You've got a little bit of, gold and whatnot. Don't forget our unallocated program as well. If you're not familiar with the unallocated program and you want to buy at spot price, and then, that's the teaser. You can buy gold or silver at spot price through our unallocated program. What I'll get you to do is go to one of these particular pages and watch the two videos, how to buy gold at spot price, our unallocated program, and unallocated program, your questions answered. Watch those two videos to get a really good explanation of what our unallocated program is. It's really, really awesome. And of course, hit the big red subscribe button, like, share, subscribe, and we will all be watching the gold and silver price very keenly in the next week. I hope my call, the title of the video, I really hope that comes true for me, for Bullion Now, and for you too. That's it, gang. Stay safe, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.